Most people think that a nuclear attack is instant death. But the truth is, if you're not in the immediate blast zone, you can survive. So today on Ohio Valley Prepping, I'm going to show you exactly what to do in the first 60 seconds, the first hour, and the first 72 hours after a nuclear strike, because this timeline is the difference between life and death. So let's break down what really happens so that you know what threats you're going to be dealing with. A nuclear explosion creates 3 life-threatening phases. The blast, of course, this is the initial problem, destroys everything close to ground zero, and it can blow out windows from miles away. So if you live in an area that is likely to be a ground zero event, well, you could probably turn off this video now because, you're going to have an issue. Next comes the heat. This is enough to ignite clothing and start fires across a wide area. Don't ask me why Granny's standing in the street wondering what's going on. The old AI image maker decided to get a mind of its own, but I think Granny's in trouble. Okay, so let's assume this thing didn't land right in the middle of your little town and turn everything into dust. This is what you're going to have to worry about, is the fallout. Radioactive particles that drift on the wind, kind of like deadly snow. This is what kills most survivors who don't take shelter. If you see a bright flash outside, and I mean the brightest thing that you've ever seen, well, that's your warning. You got seconds before the shockwave hits. So here's a checklist. Don't look at the flash, because this can blind you, and you're going to have enough problems here shortly. You don't need to be blind on top of it. Drop flat behind a wall, a car, or get in a ditch, something to protect you from the shockwave itself. Cover your head and ears to protect you from flying debris, and wait for the shockwave, because if you're far enough away, sometimes it can take up to 30 seconds. And it's going to seem like an eternity, I know, because of the adrenaline and everything else, but you got to wait for it. Now, once the shockwave hits, get inside immediately. Okay, now that we've covered what to do in the first 60 seconds, let's look at what to do in the first hour. The first hour is going to be critical, because this is when the fallout starts to begin. Get as deep inside as possible, in a basement, an interior room, ground floor of a building. The more walls, the more radiation protection. Block out all the outside air. Close the windows, shut the doors, tape up all the cracks, turn off your AC or your heat, duct tape all the vents. Try to create a fallout-proof room. Stack filled water jugs, books, furniture, anything dense against the wall. The more mass you add, the less radiation will seep through. Remove any contaminated clothing. So if you were outdoors, take off your outer layers, seal it in a bag, wipe down your hair and any exposed skin with a damp cloth. This alone can remove 90% of the fallout. Now you need to get some information, because the internet's going to be unreliable if it even works at all. No emergency radios, local emergency broadcast, battery-powered devices are going to be your best bet. So we made it through the first hour. I know it doesn't seem like much, but trust me, it's an accomplishment. So now, let's see what to do in the first 24 hours. The first 24 hours are your highest radiation exposure risks. So do not go outside unless you've got no choice. If your shelter's fallen or on fire, then obviously you're going to have to go. But other than that, stay where you're at. Start rationing supplies. A gallon of water per person a day. Eat foods with high calories, something that you don't have to prep much. And you're going to have to use sanitation bags to seal up waste because, like I said, do not go outside. Okay, so here's the good news, if there is good news in a situation like this. Radiation drops 50% every 7 hours, and it drops a total of 90% after the first 48 hours. So just hang in there. By day 2, the radiation is drastically lower, but there's still going to be hot spots. So only go outside if you get an official announcement that it's safe, and then, of course, if you trust the official announcement. Or if you have to relocate due to fire, structural collapse, or lack of water. And if you do leave, try to limit your exposure to 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Wear any protective clothing that you may have, even hooded jackets, gloves, mask, or even a handkerchief over your face. If you got some plastic rain gear available, that's ideal. After the first week, it becomes about adapting. You got to start looking at securing clean water, filters, boiling, using your stored water, finding decontaminated food. Anything outside uncovered may be contaminated. So stick to like canned food, stored grains, jarred foods, and stay connected. Now it's time to build a network because community survival is the key. A nuclear attack is going to be terrifying, but knowledge is power. If you follow the steps I just laid out, your chance of surviving goes way, way up. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit all the buttons. It really helps. Remember, don't wait for SHTF because it's not going to wait for you. This is Ohio Valley Prepping. We'll see you on the next one.